In a mountain valley town, there lived a boy named Arjun. He was known throughout the town for being fiery-tempered. This boy was a very talented carpenter, but if his anger was not controlled, no one could surpass it. The slightest provocation would send him into a rage, and outbursts would drive away clients, friends, and even family. The other day, after another row with a customer over some trifle, he stormed out of his workshop, leaving his tools scattered in the room. His fists clenched and unclenched as he let out rapid breaths. He could feel his heart pounding inside his chest, his face afire with frustration. His anger was wildfire burning within him, beyond control, destructive. He walked into town, his mind reeling in thoughts. Why did not the people see the way he did? Why did everything go wrong? As he paced near the riverbank, he overheard two farmers chatting. One of them spoke of how a wise monk, Guru Sadanand, had arrived in a nearby village. People said he could help those with troubled minds find peace. Arjun laughed at the suggestion. He didn't believe in what the monk said or taught him, but his irritation had left him so drained that almost out of desperation, he agreed to see the monk. The next morning, Arjun went to meet Guru Sadanand. He could see the monk sitting at the base of a very huge banyan tree, under whose shadow a number of villagers had gathered to listen to his recitation. There was an end amount of space, and Arjun stood at that distance. But at last he found courage enough to advance when the crowd dispersed. "Guruji," Arjun began, his voice crackling with impatience. "I've heard people say you can help troubled minds. I need help controlling my anger. It's ruining my life." The old monk smiled warmly and indicated a space beside him on the earth. "Tell me, young man, what is it that makes you so angry?" Arjun paused for a moment and then blurted, "Everything. People look down upon me, they don't listen to me, things never go the way I want them. Nobody knows how hard I try, and still they criticize everything he does." The monk nodded thoughtfully, his calm eyes unflickering. "You say other people cause your anger, but tell me, can you control their actions?" Arjun frowned. "No, but... Then why do you let them control your peace of mind?" Guru Sadanand asked gently. "Why do you hand over the power to others, allowing them to stir the fire of anger within you?" Arjun fell silent, his mind racing with this new revelation. He had never thought of it that way before. "Anger is like a storm," the monk continued, "rises quickly, swells within us, and threatens to destroy everything in its path. But, like all storms, it passes. Now the question is, are you going to let the storm destroy you, or are you going to learn how to calm it before it does harm?" He felt the weight of the monk's words, though he wasn't quite certain how to apply them. "I don't know how to stop it, Guruji," he ventured. "It feels like it takes over before I even realize it." Guru Sadanand smiled again, a knowing twinkle springing up in his eyes. "Come with me," he said, rising slowly. The two walked to the riverbank, water flowing very smoothly with wavelets made by the breeze on the water. A monk pointed to the river. "Look at the water, Arjun. If it is calm, it mirrors everything very clearly. But if it is disturbed, then the water in a hysteric manner starts splashing, and its clarity is lost. The same is with your mind. When it is calm, you can see all the things as clear-cut. But when disturbed by anger, everything gets distorted." The water was filled with analogy, as Arjun looked into it. "How do I bring peace to my mind?" he asked. The monk knelt by the water and scooped up a small stone. "Watch," he said, tossing the stone into the river. It splashed and sank, sending ripples across its surface. "This is your anger," Guru Sadanand explained. "It enters your mind and causes disturbances. But watch what happens." The ripples slowly ceased, and the stillness returned to the river's surface. "Anger is temporary," he said quietly. "It comes and goes like the ripples in the water. If you feed it, if you throw more stones, larger ones, it takes longer to calm. Your job is to stop feeding it." Arjun listened intently, but did not sound nearly convinced. "So how do I quit? When someone insults me or does something wrong, I just react." Guru Sadanand smiled at him benevolently. "You have to learn to stop. Anger, like all emotions, originates within. It does not spring from other people, but from how you read what they do or say. When it begins to well up, take a deep breath, step back and observe it. Do not let it overmaster you. You are not your anger, Arjun." Then the monk taught him a very simple breathing technique for those moments. He could practice whenever he's feeling anger arising. The deep inhalation, pause, slow exhale. "This will give you space to respond, not impulsively act," the monk said. He followed the advice of the monk in earnest for several weeks thereafter. It was really quite difficult at first because his old pattern of reacting with fury was so deeply ingrained. However, gradually, with each practice of pausing and breathing, he began to catch himself before his anger took control over him. One day, one customer came to his workshop and was saying that the table he had made was not up to expectations. Normally, this would have set Arjun off, but he could feel the anger rising this time. And instead of reacting, he remembered the words of the monk. He paused, took a deep breath, and asked the customer calmly what they didn't like about the table. After a while, he realized the customer only wanted a slight correction. He fared that quickly. When the customer left, satisfied, Arjun felt the deepest relief and pride of his life. He had been able to hold on to his anger for the first time in years. The change was not overlooked by people as they saw how composed and calm Arjun had become. Gradually, people who had distanced themselves from him began taking an interest in his life as well. He prospered once again in business, but what mattered more to him was the strengthened sense of inner peace building up within. Arjun returned to the monk that evening, thanking him. "Guruji," he said, bowing low, "I don't know how to thank you. Your teachings have changed my life. I feel like a different person." "Guru." Sadanand smiled warmly. "You always had the power within you, Arjun. All I did was show you the way to discover it." He nodded because he knew the truth in what the monk had said, that anger was not quite easy to gain control over, but he understood now that it is like the ripples on the river. It comes and goes. More important was how he would react toward that anger to feed it or let it pass, restoring peace within. Leaving the monk's side, he knew that sooner or later he would have to fight the storms. But now he had gained something to maintain his calm and composed state. He was no longer ruled by the storm of anger. He had managed to keep the waters of his mind calm,